Hello friends, my name is Razamasud. Today we'll discuss about a topic how to identify the risk. Friend, this is a very important topic with respect to project management and PMI PMBOK, project management body of knowledge. This is a very important topic, friend. If you are studying project management in university or you are planning to give exam of PMP, so friend, with respect to exam point of view, this is a very important topic and you must know that how to identify the risk. Friend, uh, at least 5 to 10 questions you will see in the exam which are directly related to risk or risk identification, so you can understand that how much it is important to understand the concept of identification of risk. Secondly, friend, if you are a professional project manager and working in any organization as a project manager, so it is very important that you must know that what is a risk, what is it's important to identify the risk. Also, the most important factor is that after identifying the risk, you must have a risk response planning, that what you will do when you identify the risk, how you will handle it, how you will manage it. So friend, let us start. First of all, I would request to please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell option as well, so that my new videos can reach to you. So let's start. How to identify risk. Friend, this is a topic which is directly related to project management. Friend, as per the definition of project, project is a temporary activity which has some beginning and ending point, and it gives you a unique output and result or product. That is called as a project. For example, if you are implementing an e-commerce solution for a customer, within 4 months you have to complete that project, so we will say that it is a project. Remember one thing, that project is always a temporary activity, like it has some beginning and ending point and it will finish after some time. Remember one thing, that project cannot be an outgoing activity. Take the same example of e-commerce solution, like within 4 months you have to complete that project, and after 4 months it will finish, resources will be released, and the deliverable, like the e-commerce solution is the deliverable, is the outcome of the project, and it will be handed over to customer. So friend, project is a temporary activity which has some beginning and ending point, and it gives you a unique output and result. Friend, if you can understand the concept of a project, now we can discuss about risk. Friend, risk, what is the risk? Risk is the uncertain condition in a project which has some positive or negative impact on the project. Risk is the uncertain scenario. Uncertainty means that you are not sure whether it will happen in a project or it will not happen. That is called as a risk. For example, friend, if you are launching a marketing campaign for a customer and you have hired a new model, a new face for the marketing campaign, and you are having a risk, you are unsure, you are uncertain that whether people will like that new model or not. If people like, after launching the marketing campaign, if people like that new face, it will become an opportunity for you because it will boost your marketing campaign. If people don't like the new model, it will become an issue for you, and it will become a huge issue for your marketing campaign. So friend, risk, always remember that risk, if you try to understand the concept of a risk, risk is the uncertain condition of a project which may positively or negatively impact the project. If it positively impact the project, it will become an opportunity for you. If it negatively impact the project, it will become a issue for you. Okay, now friend, we can talk about how to identify the risk. If you understand the concept of a risk, what is a risk? Risk is the uncertain condition of a project. Uncertain condition means that, friend, you don't know, you are uncertain that whether this will happen or not happen. Remember, always remember, friend, risk is not necessary that it will always having a negative impact. It is wrong. Risk can be have positive impact or negative impact. If it has a positive impact, it will become an opportunity for you. If it has a negative impact, it will become an issue for you. Now, coming to our main topic, how to identify the risk. Friend, if you are implementing a solution, for example, you are implementing an e-commerce solution, so how will you identify the risk? Let's assume that you have been assigned as a project manager for implementation of e-commerce solution for a customer, or any other, like for example you have been assigned as a project manager for mobile application development for bank for fund transfer, let's assume. So friend, how you will identify the risk? Friend, to identify the risk, first of all you have to break down the scope into little pieces. Like whenever you are talking about the project, you must have to identify the risk, and to identify the risk you have to break down the things, break down the scope. For example, let's assume you have to make a mobile application for customer. So breaking down means you have to break down the scope. Like for Android, you have to develop. For iOS, you have to develop. In Android, how many screens are there, how many phases are there, like testing, UAT, and then production deployment, then post production support, etc, etc. So what are the, so you have to deep down the things, then you can identify the risk. Then be pessimistic. Pessimistic means that be ready for the worst case scenario. Like you have to think, whenever we talk about risk, you have to think about the mindset that what will happen if that worst case scenario occur. Like when you have to identify the risk, you have to be ready for the worst case scenario. You have to think for a worst case scenario, that what will happen if that worst case scenario occur. Also consult with some expert, like any technical expert, domain expert, like for example software experts or construction experts, any expert, domain expert. You can take their opinion, that consult with them and take their opinion, try to learn from their experiences. Conduct internal research, like the talk with your interview with your technical team members, discuss with them, talk with them. External research means that any friends you have outside the company, any customer you have outside the company, so just discuss with them, take their opinion, try to learn from their experiences. Feedback, get employee feedback as well. Customer complaints, if customer is complaining, so you must have to identify whatever the mistake, whatever the complaints they are submitting. User models of software, you must have the software, some software should be available in which you should put the feedbacks, risk, and to, so that you can sort it out and you can store it and you can analyze it properly. To identify the risk, friend, the most important key thing is that first of all break down the things into little pieces, so that break and win. Okay, divide and rule, the concept. When you divide the things, you can easily understand easily, because little things, smaller things can be understood easily. And then think of the worst case scenario. After that, get the expert opinion from internally, externally, from domain experts, from customer, and based on their opinion, based on your own judgment, then identify the risk. Friend, when to identify the risk? First of all, at a very early stage of a project, risk should be identified in an iterative manner. Means that first you identify the risk, then again review that risk, and then improve the list, then again review, then again improve the list on a consistent frequency. Like after, for example, you can say that after every 2 weeks we will review the list of risk and then improve it. Change, whenever there is any change came in a project, you must have to identify the risk. Any major milestone is reached, any major change has been made in a project, so whenever these are the situation, you must have to identify the risk. Friend, very common mistakes whenever we are identifying the risk are that first of all, at a very early stage, we don't recognize, we don't identify the risk. When project started and when we reach at a middle of a project, then we identify the risk. At that level, risk is not a risk, it will become an issue. Our iterative manner, we don't follow the iterative manner, means that we are not reviewing the frequency, reviewing the risk on a frequently or iterative manner, like after every week, after every 2 weeks or 1 week, you should have to review the list of risk and then update the list. Friend, risks are not identified with appropriate stakeholders, are not involved properly. Proper risk identification techniques are not used. Risks are not captured in one location. The failure to make the risk visible and easily accessible. First of all, friend, whatever the risk you are identifying, it should have to be placed at some common place so that everyone can view the list which you have identified, and if they have any feedback they can provide it accordingly. Risks are not captured in a consistent format. Like consistent format means, friend, cause, risk, impact. Like what is the cause, what will the risk will happen, and what will be the impact on the project. So proper formatting are not used, consistent formatting are not used. The most important, the key factor here, friend, whatever the risk is here, you must have to identify at a planning stage or at a initiation level of a project. You must have to identify the risk. If you miss the risk to identify at a initiation level, or you can say the planning level, and you are identifying the risk at a middle of a project, so friend, remember that means that you are moving towards the failure of a project. Why? Because see, friend, when you identify the risk at a very later stage, so it will become very difficult to manage that risk. For example, your team needs a training. You are working for a technology for which your team needs a training. If you provide a training at a very initial level of a project to team, so it will better. If you provide the training at the middle of a project, so it will become very difficult for team to first of all grasp the knowledge of training and then to implement it in the project. So friend, thank you, thanks a lot for your time, and that's all from my side. I hope you like this video. If you like, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and thank you, thanks a lot for your time.